welcome back. Let's have some real fun. I've been to Japan lots and lots of times. Lots of times. First time was in 1985. I love sake. I love sake a lot. I also don't like shochu, but we'll have that another day. Sake is basically just rice wine. Rice wine. Twice a week, we order Asian takeaways and we get a bowl of rice like this. I've cooked it up extra well to make it soft. And let's make some sake today. What we do is the same as with any alcohol. You need sugar. You don't need it. Sometimes there's enough fruit for sugar, but I'm just teaching you how to have fun and make it quickly and understand a bit about the winemaking process. So, some sugar. Some yeast. You can get koji yeast, K-O-J-I, koji yeast. But as I said, I'm teaching you how to do it fun, simple, and magical. Get a bottle. This is an experiment for me because how do you get this much rice into a bottle like this when it's wet? So I boiled it up for another 20-30 minutes to make it extra soft, extra pliable. Hopefully that will help. Pour the sugar and yeast into the bowl. There it goes. Now, this is an experiment. How do you get all this rice down here without making a big mess? I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll put it in this bowl, and so hopefully if it spills, it goes down there. What I'll do is I'll pour the rice, and it's working! Amazing! Not. Water in. More water. More water. I was thinking of making this out of it's actually working quite well. Well, this works very much like your digestive system. People don't drink enough water, or maybe enough wine, I'm not sure. This is going quite well. By the way, I haven't read this anywhere, but I imagine by cooking the rice extra, and this is all the sugar from the rice in here, in the water, it gives more sugar to the fermentation. Now, they say that you get 12 to 20% alcohol out of sake, and maybe that's really traditional way of cooking. With like the wine I showed you yesterday, if you cook it, if you make it, I find it's not so strong the way I do it. So after 15 days, this is about how long it takes. 15 days, it will be probably about 8 to 12% alcohol. Not so strong. But in Japan and China, the sake manufacturers, after they go through the first 2 fermentation processes, which takes 15 days, they actually store it for 3 months to 6 months. So maybe that's where they're getting their 15% alcohol from. This is working quite well. I'm surprised. That was a good idea to use this bowl. Put that there. There. I'm putting a little bit more yeast in because by putting the extra water in, I've actually tipped some of the yeast out by accident, not too much. And that's all it is. Now, put a sticker on. Sake, 18th of the 11th, 2025. Now put that on there. The problem is we're going on holiday on the 13th of next month, and that means we might not be here to taste it with you. So we'll probably taste it in the new year. Now, put the rubber band on the top, like this, on these old gloves. Like this. Loosen the top, and that is done. So desu ne. Hajimashite, Tom Moton desu. That's my name. Hajimashite, Tom. Tom desu ne. Tom-san. What's stopping you making your own wine? Put it down in the comments. Really, what is stopping you making your own wine? Is it the cost, or you don't want the mess? Tell me what you're finding. Because nothing here I've spent is one bottle out of recycling, some old gloves. I use hand washing gloves, rubber band. What's stopping you? Just give things a go. You never know what happens out of it. We go to wine tastings quite often around the region, and maybe we'll introduce you to some of the wine tasting. We'll give you comments on some of the wine tasting. It's really interesting when you do this, then you go to a vineyard and then they explain what they're doing to you. And then you say, oh, that's what we're doing. And it's really interesting. So give it a go. You don't want to wait too long. My dad used to have some bottles underneath the house. He never drank them. Why not? he made some. I think he said they probably turned to port now after 20 years and under the house. But why not try it? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do fundamental drinks. Like in South Africa, I went to parties in the African community, deep African community. And I lived in really deep African communities. And they'll just make their own wine. I can't remember how long it'll take. I will look it up. How long it takes to make African wine. When the problem happened in 2020, South Africa stopped people making wine. Buying wine, I should say, because people would often congregate. So all the supermarkets were selling bowls, pineapples. I'll teach you how to make pineapple wine. Yeast, bags of sugar, bags of rolled oats, because a lot of the African wine comes from rolled oats. So give it a go. I'll go through a whole bunch of these primitive wines, so to speak. They're not primitive, they're ingenious. In 2020, I was in Nepal. And I was wanting to take Tracy, I like Shiraz wine. I was wanting to take my wife to Iran. And I was in Nepal waiting for Tracy to fly out from New Zealand, but the whole 2020 saga meant she couldn't and didn't want to. So I was going to show her Shiraz, but it's the whole experiments of the history I'm more interested in. The whole history. I said yesterday the Egyptian wine wasn't nice tasting. I really should have said the Greek and the Roman wine 2,000 years ago wasn't interesting. If you want to pay big money for wine in London, England, they are now making Egyptian wine just as they used to 2,000 years ago. And it is selling for big money. There's a whole movement back to traditional wine. A lot of the reasons why maybe Greek and Roman wine wasn't nice is because they didn't have the cleanliness of and understanding on how to make things great. So, and they didn't know how to store things. So they'd open the wine, and after a few days, the wine would be terrible. You know, that big urn of wine. After a few days, it starts going off. So maybe that's why they didn't. People say it was terrible. So put your comments in the comment section. Ask, because it's just a wonderful exploration of interesting things about this. Just yeast, water, and something which has sugar in it, like apples, like banana, like pineapple, like rice, you know. We don't eat much rice, but we get these every once a week. So why not? It's just fun. We have sushi every Friday. And so why not have a bottle of sake once a week? Sake you make yourself. Everybody likes making their own bread. Make your own wine. Everybody likes cooking a spaghetti bolognese. Why don't you make your own wine? Or cider, or root beer. When you get married, you go on honeymoon. Honeymoon, what's honeymoon? Well, honeymoon is a wine. It's a honey wine. What's a honey beer? From Babylon. It's just so exciting. It's really exciting. Just enjoy it and search the stuff out. Hey, have fun. I hope I'm watching it starting to bubble now because the water's warm and I'm seeing all the yeast go. It's wonderful. Anyway, have a lovely day. Peace.